Before we talk on today's topic, I want to translate a Swahili word that says usiache bachao kwa msala upitao. It says, do not leave your permanent bachao for the msala that is temporary. Now, what is bachao and what is msala? As used in the proverb, do not leave bachao for the msala that is passing. There are two mats that are used in a Swahili home. There is a mat that is placed outside the house as you enter the house. And then there is another mat that is placed just next to the bed. Now, the one that is next to the bed is called musala. Bachao is the mat that is outside there as you enter the house. Now, the mat that is outside the house as you enter the house is usually rougher and made of cheaper material. Msala, the mat that is next to the bed, is usually soft, silky, newer. Although in some occasions, you may have a mat that is next to the bed, and when it gets old, you take it to be the one out there, and then take a newer one, place it there. But mostly, the finer, softer one is next to the bed, and the bigger, rough one is out of the house just as you enter the house. So you are told, if you have an old thing that is used to you, don't leave it for a newer, better one, which is temporary. Maybe the hardest part to understand is because we have to modernize. There's a time we used to have black and white TVs. Then we had colored. Now we have a flat screen, and then we are now having smart TVs. If you stick to Great Wall black and white, there are those people still stick to that. But I would say that the proverb talks of someone having an old mad useless mat at the door. Then you see a temporary silky mat. You want to leave it, and the silky one is temporary. For those who understand Swahili now, you understand usiache mbachao kwa msala upitao. When I remembered, when I was making notes for, or when I was preparing myself for Wambugu, I remembered that. So it came to mind, and I felt maybe I have to share with people. Now, the topic of today. When I first came across the information, I thought that it was artificial intelligence. You know, nowadays anything can be cooked and placed on social media, and you'd believe that something has happened, whereas it has not happened. I had to check several outlets, and even now it's a bit hard for me to believe, but it is true. In the intelligence world, we are taught that you process the information as it is. Your comments, views, and opinions come after the comment section of your report. You just write the report as you receive it, forward it the way I'm forwarding. Then at the end of the report is when you start telling, oh, the informer is unreliable, or the former is very reliable. You just give a background information. You don't include it in your report. So I have just to give the story of Wambugu as it is. It says Wambugu has ditched Rigathi because of Rigathi's dictatorship and rejoined Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta with Jubilee, but insists that Ruto may win a second term. It is true that if given a time, the ambitions of Rigathi Gachagua is to make the party that he is to decide be like ODM in Luo Nyanza. It is his dream and aspirations to control people from the mountain the way Raila has controlled the lakeside people. But then there is a Swahili proverb that says, bahati ya mwenzio usilalie mlango wazi. Meaning, don't see another person using a certain tactic and you do it. That is his luck. It is Raila's luck. And you see, we just look at Raila controlling Lakeside like a remote control, but we don't know what efforts he took, the long time he took. And there are some things that even if you have money, you cannot just control your people the way Raila has done. There's a lot of things that goes into it, which I'm sure Rigathi does not have it. After all, Rigathi believes that with an open checkbook, he can dictate things from the mountain area. But what I can assure you is that Raila from day one has never spent money to win the support of these people. It is for if you want to understand how Raila got the undivided attention from the lake, you have to understand the meaning of the word Agwambo. Agwambo, his nickname. Agwambo means the mysterious person. He just got those powers mysteriously. Maybe that's why some people call him Ganga. This issue of saying that Wambugu has ditched Rigathi because of dictatorship and joined Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, but he insists Ruto may win a second term. It's quite a tongue twister, and maybe he believes in what he's saying. You know, you can never reason with somebody when he believes in something, isn't it? We may have somebody coming up believing certain theories that you look at the person and say, are you ever why do when somebody believes in something, uh, it, it is really hard to convince him or her otherwise. What I know is that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta wouldn't like that stand or statement. That stand or statement of saying, I am rejoining Jubilee, but I'm rejoining the Jubilee, but UDA will win and whatever. I believe there are two people Uhuru will have a hard time associating with them or joining them. One is Rigathi Gachagua, and the other one is Ruto. So somebody joining Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and say, I am with Jubilee, but I believe Ruto or UDA will win. I think, I don't know, but I think maybe, I may be wrong, but maybe he's saying so, trying to look across and pass a message to Ruto that this is Jubilee and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta are temporary stop and I'm headed to UDA and Ruto. Maybe that is why. He further claims that his work with Rigathi was purely professional. You know, he's a journalist. So he's trying to tell people that his association with Rigathi Gachagua, when Rigathi Gachagua was the deputy president, was very professional because he was he was the deputy president's press advisor. Mm. He rightly complains that Rigathi is both a dictator and was pushing for a one-party state in the region. That one, I agree with that. Although I think journalism, as I've always said, that journalism and intelligence are the same profession. He must have read what is on the ground and then said out that he's against that. He says that even if he was to benefit from the one-party state, he did not believe in dictatorship. Well, that is what he has said, but what I know is that he is among those people who are, in Swahili say, mdomo asali, with a honey tongue, that even if today I were to contest the presidency and win, he would still find a way to be in my kitchen cabinet. First and foremost, the person who caused the mountain to shift from Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Raila was Wambugu. He is the one who coined the phrase kieleweke. Now, for those of my viewers who are not within Kenya, in Uhuru's second term as president, there were two camps. There was one camp that was called Tanga Tanga, people who meander around, and there was the group that was called Kieleweke. Kieleweke in English would mean clearly stated. Now, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta said that Ruto was a person who was meandering all over the country, blah, blah, blah. And then Ruto used that catchphrase and said that, and started a movement which later became UDA and so on, where he said, Sisi tuna tanga tanga. So it became tanga tanga, meandering group. But Wambugu said, and it is Wambugu who came with that dictatorial term, especially to the people of the mountain, and said, let it be clear to everyone. You see, that is not even democratic. That is like what you call drill sergeant in a military college. So he's the one who said kieleweke, and he's the person who came up with the draconian rules that the only thing that it assisted Jubilee and Uhuru was to make people, especially from the mountain, to run away. Immediately Ruto was sworn in, Wambugu was immediately employed by the government as Rigathi Gachagua's communication aide. Suddenly, even the most vocal senior UDA guys, especially from the mountain, had to get permission from him to reach Rigathi Gachagua. Suddenly, him and Rigathi copied Ruto. Make sure that the next lot of leaders are both new and answerable to Rigathi. You know, before that, Ruto had taken about 20 years to have a clean slate of leaders in the valley. Now, Rigathi Gachagua wanted to do the same in a very short time. And the person who was leading him to do that was Wambugu. The reason being that come 2027, every leader in the mountain, be he or she an MCA, a constituency member, women rep, senator, or even governor and deputy, they were answerable to Rigathi Gachagua. Just like Rift Valley, from the north to the south, political heavyweights such as Isaac Ruto, such as the Moi family, were undermined and uprooted by Ruto for a long. Ruto took a longer time to do that, but Rigathi Gachagua tried to do that in a very short time. That is what he wanted, so that in 2027, all elected MPs are beheld to him. Suddenly, almost all elected leaders in Nyeri were not seeing eye to eye with Rigathi. Why? Because of Wambugu. Rigathi was guilty. As a result, Rigathi was as guilty as Wambugu. None can be said to be better than the other. Both of them were and current Kikuyu leaders, especially in their home area of Nyeri. Then came the impeachment. When impeachment came and Rigathi was impeached, it means that all his personal employees had to cease working. For example, special advisors. It meant that the new person would come with his own team of special advisors, and Wambugu's salary stopped. That is when Wambugu and other aides had their pay stopped. And Wambugu claims that from October, that time when Rigathi had his last pay slip, up to now, Wambugu started offering pro bono services from November 2024 to date. He then ditched Rigathi for Uhuru while praising Ruto. I'm not sure whether Uhuru will hot-heartedly welcome him, because he caused Uhuru to be unpopular with the Kieleweke and within the mountain. And then the first to jump over to Rigathi, and now he is back. There is a Swahili saying that huku hayuko ankulahu, meaning he is not here, he is not there, so he has missed. You see, it is like the English word that fast moving tile do not catch mold. So yes, he may be very clever in sensing where the next victory is and jumping towards there. But it is also possible that everybody will discover him and disown him. Do you know the story of the bat, which claimed it was neither an animal nor a bird? Now you get it. I also don't know if Uhuru will be happy with someone who believes that Ruto will win. Many may think that he has left Rigathi and is at Jubilee pending UDA stamping his visa in his passport. Although he may be telling what his heart tells him, or even having access to the mountain to know what the mountain feels at present. But my advice to any person and or any political person, to avoid a person like Ngunjiri, since a person like Ngunjiri is a person whom I would disown publicly. He comes to you to dismantle your political base, and when the wind starts moving the grass, he would be the first to flee. So he's somebody whom I know he's a journalist and he would be having the feeling on the ground, but I would advise anybody everywhere to keep distance away from Ngunjiri. He's an opportunistic of the highest order. Thank you.